to the Creative Nomad, presented by TrueAwesomeLife.com. I'm your host, JP Adkins, and I created this podcast because I want to tell the stories of the radicals, the ones who are out there making the world a better, more beautiful place, the amazing authors, artists, musicians, thought leaders, coaches, and yes, nomads who are out there living their true awesome lives and want to help others do the same. Are you ready to live your true awesome life? Go to TrueAwesomeLife.com and start your journey today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Nomad. I just did the Daily Jedi. I'm like, welcome to the Daily Jedi. No, it's the Daily Show. There's no one else there when I do that. So, welcome. I'm here with the amazing Miss Tanya Joliffe. And Tanya, why don't you introduce yourself?
Great. I'm glad to be here. It's actually Tanya, like Tanya Tucker.
Oh my goodness.
No problem. It's just funny that it's like people actually kind of remember who Tanya Tucker is, She kind of made a comeback a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am a registered and licensed dietitian, and I'm also a certified mental health integrative medicine professional. And I have worked as a clinical dietitian with end-stage organ disease and transplantation of the kidney, liver, and pancreas. And then I worked for years as a health coach, working with people for behavior change, modification, lifestyle change, modification. And then a few years ago, founded my own company, wrote a journaling program, the Mindful Me Journey, and used that to help people understand that their life is a whole life. And we look at physical well-being and maybe mental and emotional well-being, and we don't really give a lot of credence to the relationship that's the problem that leads me to the bag of chips and leaves me on the couch and all of those different things. And so I try to bring a culture of wellness that helps people move away from diet culture and to have a whole life for health, wholeness, and happiness.
I love it. Yeah, I realize that there are triggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've said many times on the show that I was really good I had this whole lifestyle going. I was exercising a few times a week. I was eating really healthy. I had this app that was really working for me. It was called 8Fit. And I was doing well after 3 years of doing this, 2 years, 3 years, and was pretty consistent when I was in the RV before I actually went nomadic. And right before I went nomadic, my ex died. So we had already been broken up a couple years. So on Fridays was always my cheat day. I ordered a pizza, which normally led into a pizza for Saturday. But, I got 8 pizza a week, right? It wasn't like I got pizza or wings and or breadsticks for a week. But the rest of the week I was pretty okay. I was much more conscious about what I was putting in my body. And even the pizza, I stopped eating pepperoni. I started eating it with veggies. Like I really was working on some things. Not that that's that much better. But the day that I found out he passed away, I ordered pizza. The next day I ordered a hamburger. The day after that, I think I might have cooked the day after that because, money wasn't always great. But I might have cooked, but it wasn't necessarily what I would have cooked. And it took me 3 weeks to go back to doing any kind of workout. Well, when I was using this app, you couldn't go backwards. So 3 weeks later, I wasn't strong enough to do the workout I was going to do. And I couldn't do that workout. So start there. I couldn't do that workout. And then I tried again a few days later, a week later, the next time I was like, okay, no, I really got to get on this, right? I'm doing good here. I lost 50 pounds. I was like in a good space. And people didn't realize that it was the depression. And then that cycled, and part of it was the app not allowing me to go back. Part of it was that I didn't really want to. I never really wanted to work out. I was never, I knew I needed to, but I never wanted to. I knew it made me feel better. So, what are some things that's a really long story, I realize. So
well, I can jump in because
yes,
I can identify a whole lot of things in that string
Mm-hmm.
And the first starts with a diet culture mentality, because a diet culture mentality causes me to have a cheat day,
Mm-hmm.
because it's telling me that there's good foods and there's bad foods. So when I set myself up for that, I'm kind of setting myself up for failure versus setting myself up for success. Okay. So although I'm a registered dietitian, I'm a non-diet dietitian, because I've seen what diets do to people. Now, if you have a medical condition, there's medical nutrition therapy that you need. That's not a diet. That's medical nutrition therapy that you need to deal with end-stage kidney disease, end-stage liver disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. That's nutrition therapy. That's not a diet. Diets are things we go on and we go off. Okay. So I want to set that apart right there, because that's two separate things. And even when you're dealing with a medical condition and you're dealing with medical nutrition therapy, if you have diabetes, having sugar has more of an effect on you than maybe it does for someone else. If you have sodium and you have salt and you have high blood pressure, you're going to have a physical response in your body to those two things if you eat them versus someone who doesn't have that medical condition, right? Mm-hmm. But the average person wants to try to limit how much extra sugar and extra salt that they have. That's just being nutrition conscious for how we fuel our body, how we feed our body, right? Mm-hmm. So when we start saying good foods, bad foods, I'm going to have a cheat day and I'm going to order pizza because pizza is a bad food that fits in a bad food category, that's a cheat day, it leads us down a whole road that says, well, I'm being bad because I'm having this, which means I'm being good because I'm having something else.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that diet culture that gets us to go on diets and to repeat that over and over and over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. Same with exercise. Now, you're somebody who's a very self-disciplined person. You just described your self-discipline, right? But sometimes our self-discipline can work against us. Our self-discipline can make us be a perfect eater, a clean eater, someone who does all the right activities and all of those things, because it fills that emotional need that we need to be successful. It checks a box for us in that emotional or that mental well-being category for us to be able to say we're good enough, we're validated, we're worthy, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I see in your story. And so then when life happens and we can't check the box and we don't know what to do because we can't follow that routine that somebody told us to follow, well, then one day turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days. And we don't have the tools in the toolbox that we need to address the trigger, to address the symptoms of it, the thoughts, the feelings that lead to the actions. And so that's where a culture of wellness, and that's where I really come in. I want to help anybody that's got a medical nutrition therapy, but I want to help you eat for the medical condition that you have, but not in a diet way, not in a manipulative way. There are foods that nourish us and there are foods that don't nourish us, but we enjoy. When you eat a pizza, I want you to enjoy the pizza. But I also want you to be in tune with your body so that you say, okay, I'm going to eat this slowly. I'm going to enjoy every bite. I'm going to enjoy every smell. And I'm going to have 2 pieces because it satisfies me in all ways. It satisfies me emotionally. It satisfies me mentally because I'm not beating myself up for doing something wrong. It fuels me physically. But then I don't have to binge on it. I don't have to feel good or bad about it. I'm going to enjoy it, and then I'm not going to do it again. We want to try to follow an 80-20 principle. We want to nourish our body 80% of the time with those things that are going to fuel our body and give our body what we need for our hormones, for our serotonin levels, for all of those things, for our hormones especially, because that affects our vitamins, our minerals, all of those things affect how we feel, how we think, how we process, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the difference in that whole mindset between wellness culture and diet culture. That's kind of the sweet spot where I live.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's, and it's hard to break yourself of that.
Hmm?
Even myself, right?
Yep.
I have been, now I know that mind, body, and spirit, if you are in tune and you're conscious about it, okay, to the point where another funny story about me and doing this, I'm going to eat better moment, right?
Right.
Happened recently. I did a month where a couple things happened. First off, I was going to on this, I'm opening up this transformational center.
Okay.
And the whole idea is mind, body, and spirit and business, right? And a wholeness within it. And I have someone that's coming in to do the whole diet, an Ayurvedic diet person, dietitian, to come in and do that. I asked for some advice around it on some of the stuff I'm dealing with. And so got a plan together for me to, clean out and get some things nutritionally, right? So I do this, right? And I got meningitis. So I end up on all kinds of antivirals, which was a lot of fun. And then I spent a couple of days in the hospital, did that whole thing, got super hydrated, and then kept super hydrated because I started like really seeing a difference and was doing well and was drinking just water and a little bit of juice here and there, doing all the in my coffee. Obviously I have one, like I have a half a pot of coffee every day, like leave my coffee alone, and it's black. So
good. That's good. That's good.
Not adding my sugar, not adding any crap.
Yep.
So, and it's not that it's good. It's just that I know that it fuels me. But I went out at the end of this, a month later, I go out for my friend's birthday and have 2 drinks and was so plastered. I mean, like so absolutely, I don't remember singing my second song. I was throwing up, like did the whole, like I sat there and like downed a keg. But I realized it was because my body was, a couple days before that, there was a brand new Mountain Dew out. I always try the new Mountain Dews. I realized that I don't like them. As soon as I try them, it doesn't make me, I drink the one, I'm done for a month. Well, I can only drink like literally like 4 sips out of this. I didn't even get to the thing because my body's like, I could feel my blood pressure just go like this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's to your body. That's why I don't do energy drinks, is because I know what that does. And this Mountain Dew is not that much better than that energy drink is.
Right.
So I was just laughing about that. And then I got super sick. And I think that it goes to your point of all the wellness, that whole idea of wellness and what fuels you compared to what is maybe harms you, and not necessarily in that, it may not make you feel as good as something else would.
We have been caught up. We only know diet culture. That's the honest truth. We only know diet culture. It's been around for so long that we don't even, recognize it anymore. It has to do with marketing. It has to do with selling us stuff. It has to do with the consumerism. It doesn't have to do with what makes us healthy and well. If you look at the statistics for the last 2 decades, all the health, fitness, all that stuff that the world has brought us, and every year we are a sicker society than we were the year before. Yeah. You watch the thing and it's just a continual increase. And so what that tells me is that none of those things they're selling us have to do with health and well-being. They have to do with the almighty dollar. And so it comes up to us to be able to step back and say, okay, when I ate this, this is how I felt. This is what I thought. This is what was triggered. And that's why we have to understand, what do I do with food and activity, and why do I do it? That is at the heart of everything. What am I doing, and why am I doing it? And how do I feel, and how can I do it better to feel better? So when we're eating things that make us sick, when we're eating things that make us not feel well, like one of my favorite things is someone drinks a Mountain Dew and they say an hour later, I had a headache. Why did you have a headache? Well, well, maybe this, well, maybe that. Well, I was more than likely your blood sugar, you have a high blood sugar problem and your blood sugar spiked and that caused a headache. Same with people that have blood pressure management issues that they're not aware of. And they have some high, eat a double decker Whopper, Big Mac, whatever. And the sodium content of that is like 4 grams in and of itself. Yeah. And so then they got a headache. Well, it could be that their blood pressure is sky high because both things cause a headache. And so it's starting to become aware of what am I doing with food? Why am I doing it? How does it make me feel physically and emotionally? And then how can I make different choices so that I can feel my best?
Yeah, I love it. And, it's funny because we don't realize how much crap is actually in the food that we even think is healthy. We proved that the other day. My friend my roommate bought some dusted cocoa almonds from Aldi's. Okay. Should be good. It was dark chocolate. It was, it was real sugar. And then you looked at everything else in it. And there was soy. There was like all this, like, and like 5 different types of salt and 5 different, and you looked at it and it's like, you can't even eat this. Like and this is a healthy alternative.
Well, but again, you have to remember that health and healthy don't have a definition. Those are just marketing terms. There is no term. There is no record evaluation of healthy. This is healthy. This is a healthy alternative. And that's where we have to look at how many ingredients are on our package. If there's more ingredients than 5, it's not healthy.
Okay.
Right. So we want foods in its whole form. And one of the examples that I like to give is an apple in its whole form has pectin, has fiber, has crunch, has taste, has water because of the hydration. Then the next would be unsweetened applesauce. You don't have quite as much fiber, but there's still some pectin in there, but you don't have any added sugars or anything else. So it's really kind of the whole form, but it's just in a pureed form. Then you go to the sweetened applesauce. Well, that becomes your least healthy alternative, your least nutrient rich alternative because of the added sugar that's in there that you don't need. Now it might taste a little better, but you give your taste buds a week of the unsweetened applesauce and you'll be adjusted, So it's thinking about foods in its whole form. And, they used to say years ago, go to the grocery store, stay on the perimeter because that's where all your main foods are. Well, that's because that's where the foods in its whole form are, right? Except for the bread. That's an exception. So that's what you want to think about is how many ingredients are in this. And then we start looking at things like soy, that you mentioned, and there's soy in almost everything that's processed. Yeah. And for women, soy is a huge problem and disruptor with their hormones. And so that can throw off a whole lot of things just because you're eating too much soy. We've seen it in soy formula that babies that are fed soy formula start and enter puberty earlier than babies that don't have soy formula.
Yeah. So, it's a problem for men too. And I can't remember what it blocks testosterone or it
because it's a disruptor of sex hormones is basically what it is. It changes the level and the balance between them. So but soy everything. You should be vegan or vegetarian, supposedly, and then use all these soy-based products that are going to actually make you unhealthy and change everything about your sex hormones and the relationship between them. And so there's just a lot of unhealthy, the keto diet. The keto diet was started as a diet that is for medical nutrition therapy for someone with seizure disorder or epilepsy. That is its purpose. Seizure disorder and epilepsy. And now people have made it mainstream like it's a weight loss program. Well, the question you need to be asking is, what are you doing to your brain chemistry? How are you changing your brain chemistry? And its intention is to change brain chemistry. So you're changing your brain chemistry to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. And I'll tell you, people are very, very it's like an eating disorder. Don't take this away from me. I love it. It works for me. You're just trying to sabotage me. No, I'm just bringing up and saying, are you noticing eye twitches that you didn't have before? Are you noticing other neurological symptoms that maybe is a relationship to the diet that you're on? That's really medical nutrition therapy, and it's not a diet at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because, you think about some of those ideas, right? And so-called healthy ideas, and they just might not be the best idea for you.
They were started, and you start to. I look at soup, and soup says it's keto friendly. Okay, that's just a marketing ploy. I mean, so gluten, that's another one. There are people from a medical nutrition therapy situation that need less gluten. And we do have a problem because we used to only have a few types of wheat. And now with the GMO modifications in wheat, we've got many, many, many different varieties. And some of those varieties of wheat may bother your body, and you should be paying attention to that. But it's not really by and large a gluten problem as it is a specific wheat variety problem. And we're not having that conversation either. We're just putting a blanket statement over everything and saying, well, I need to follow this. And now we've got this gluten-free product that everybody's marketing, and it's a marketing ploy.
And the worst part is the gluten-free product is probably full of soy that's actually messing up this. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's the stuff where when you try to talk to people and you say, okay, what are you really wanting to do? If you're wanting to feel better, if it's not about, again, we're stuck on a weight on a number on a scale because we haven't learned body acceptance. We haven't learned to understand our body type. We haven't learned to be able to understand that, you know what, I'm a pear shape because I'm that's the shape of an endomorph that I am, an endomesomorph. And I'm not going to look like a chiseled hourglass person because that's not the body type I have.
Right.
One of the examples I often use is if you look at pretty much any commercial or infomercial for a weight loss program, a fitness program that's geared towards weight loss and weight loss only, if they're marketing weight loss, they're going to use an endomorph in the first part of it. And that endomorph is going to look very unhappy, very down. They're going to be on a scale and moving the scale thing back and forth, and then they're going to show you the product and they're going to tell you about the service and they're going to tell you how great and wonderful it is. And when you watch, they will switch to a mesomorph who is fully built, fully chiseled, and they will change body types on you, giving you the idea that you're going to look like that when you've used their product. Yeah. And you need to be able to look at that and say, no, you changed body types on me. You started with an endomorph and you went to a mesomorph. I'm an endomorph and I'm never going to look like that.
Right.
But they don't want you to pay attention to that sleight of hand. And what I like to do is draw attention to it so that people can look at it and go, she's right. They really do that. Because they do. They do it over and over because they're selling a product or a service. They're not helping you feel your best. They're not helping you look your best. And you can be healthy at any size. It's not based on a number on a scale.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I love it. We're done. Oh my goodness. I'm like, oh, wait, we're I could talk to you for another hour because I know that what you are really doing is so important. Just educating people on being healthier, like being healthy in a healthy and whole and happy. Right. Healthy, whole, and happy. And it's without what society, one of my major things I talk about all the time is that society has programmed you for a certain idea. And you are being programmed, and it's not necessarily right for you. Right. And in the case of diet and fitness, it's on physical well-being and physical well-being only. And you are a whole person. You have many dimensions of your well-being. And if you're not understanding how all of those things relate to what you put in your mouth and how you feel and how you sabotage yourself and all of those things,
you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're feeding somebody's diet culture needs instead of feeding your own health and happiness needs. And that's what I want to help people do, is find the, healthy, whole, and happy people.
I love it.
Yeah.
So Tanya, how does people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me through my website, LIT Wellness Solutions, 3 S's in there, wellnesssolutions.com. They can text me, and there's a link on the website as well. And there's information about coaching programs. There's information out there about my journaling program, the Mindful Me Journey, and some e-learning programs that people can just do on their own from the comfort of their home.
I love it.
Great.
Check her out. You may see her at one of the retreats for the Orange Dragonfly.
Awesome.
I love her to death. So, folks, and if you want to live a more full life today, no matter what the circumstances, go to trueawesomelife.com and download the Live Your True Awesome Life Now guide. No matter what the circumstances, right on trueawesomelife.com. You guys are loved. I will see you guys all next week.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Nomad Show. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, go to creativenomadshow.com. There's also a link at the bottom. If you are a radical and would like to be a guest, you can apply to be on the show there. Thanks again, and know that you are loved. Awesome Life, we look for the world changers who want to live in creativity, authenticity, and profitability whenever, wherever. So check out trueawesomelife.com and let's get started.